It's 3 a.m., the kettle's rattling, the Wi-Fi's dead, and somewhere above, a hypersonic missile is slicing through the sky toward Birmingham. Welcome to World War III, British edition. The question no one wants to ask, but everyone should: could the United Kingdom actually endure a modern global conflict? This isn't 1940s Britain with sandbags and sirens. It's a nation running on data, oat milk lattes, and a collective addiction to Deliveroo. Let's be blunt. If there's a country with a flair for collecting wars like quirky antiques, it's the UK. 2 world wars, a smattering of colonial dust-ups, the Falklands, Iraq, Afghanistan, and still enough time left to gift the world Marmite, tea bags, and the toaster. The last 2 global wars didn't just leave scars. They reshaped continents, birthed the NHS, and guaranteed every nan across the country has a wartime anecdote involving blackout curtains or spitting at the Luftwaffe from the safety of her back garden. But this time? This wouldn't be Churchill's war. It wouldn't be Union Jacks waving from balconies while Vera Lynn plays on the radio. This would be cyber invasions, drone swarms, satellite hacks, and social media campaigns with dodgy spelling and deepfakes that spark panic before the first shot is fired. Once, war meant air raids and Anderson shelters. Today, it means GPS jamming, rogue algorithms, and the psychological devastation of waking up to find your banking app, Netflix, and memes wiped off the grid. A 21st century world war wouldn't necessarily begin with a bang. It might start with a suspicious software update, a frozen ATM, or one diplomatic tweet with catastrophic autocorrect. But if the unthinkable did unfold, how would Britain hold up? Let's talk muscle. The UK may be modest in size, but it's got teeth. The Royal Navy still prowls the oceans with the same pride it had in 1805, except now it carries stealthy, nuclear-powered submarines that can erase cities and vanish without trace. These silent ghosts glide beneath the seas, armed with trident nuclear warheads, capable of reaching most corners of the planet. The message is clear: we may be small, but we can end the world by lunchtime. Then there's the Royal Air Force, which swapped Spitfires for F-35 Lightning IS, sleek, stealthy marvels of military engineering that cost more than a central London townhouse with a garden. Fast, deadly, and smart enough to fry enemy radar or snap a selfie at max speed, these jets are airborne Swiss Army knives. The British Army, though downsized, has traded bulk for brains. Gone are the days of itchy wool uniforms and ponderous tanks. Today's ground forces are lean, mobile, and digitally connected, wired for speed, intelligence, and precision. And while they may have fewer boots on the ground, they've got better tech, better intel, and stronger coffee. But modern warfare doesn't end with missiles and muscle. It begins and ends in the shadows, where invisible battles rage in code and keystrokes. Enter GCHQ, the UK's cybersecurity brain trust hidden inside a massive, donut-shaped fortress in Cheltenham. There, around the clock, Britain's best minds intercept digital threats, track foreign adversaries, and occasionally argue over who gets to press the hackback button. In a world where a laptop and a grudge can dismantle a city's infrastructure, cyber warfare is the new frontline, and the UK's digital sentinels are constantly playing 4D chess against unseen opponents. But let's not kid ourselves. While the military might be cutting edge, Britain's national infrastructure is less so. Much of it runs on legacy systems that remember dial-up tones and floppy disks. The power grid, transport systems, water supply, all ripe for disruption. And if a hostile actor really wanted to collapse British society overnight, they wouldn't need to bomb London. They just need to crash the online grocery delivery system. Take away Tesco.com, and you'd have a civil war over oat milk and bourbon biscuits by morning. Then there's the public. The legendary British resilience of the 1940s, digging for victory, keeping calm and carrying on, is now filtered through social media and Amazon Prime. Civilians once hailed as wartime heroes now lose it over slight petrol shortages and storm supermarket aisles for toilet paper at the first hint of crisis. In the face of real wartime deprivation, rationing, power cuts, fuel limits, how would modern Brits cope? Would we channel the Blitz spirit, or would World War III peak with a riot in the crisp aisle and TikToks of people fighting over the last bag of quavers? Morale, after all, is the wild card. Could a nation raised on next-day delivery, dopamine loops, and endless hot takes unite under common cause? Or would national defense dissolve into a barrage of hashtags, conspiracy theories, and angry debates over who started it? And how would Britain even get pulled into such a war? It's not like the UK is out there picking fights. It has enough trouble managing potholes, inflation, and rail strikes. But war today spreads like wildfire, and the UK's biggest asset, its alliances, are also its greatest risk. As a central pillar of NATO, Britain is bound by Article 5. An attack on one is an attack on all. So if someone fires a missile at Estonia, or launches a cyber attack on a NATO partner, guess who's suiting up? Whether it wants to or not, the UK could be pulled into a global brawl faster than you can say diplomatic incident. With military bases and strategic outposts from Cyprus to Diego Garcia, from the Falklands to the Indo-Pacific, a flashpoint anywhere, a shipping blockade in the Persian Gulf, tensions over Taiwan, a rogue strike in Eastern Europe, could trigger the chain reaction. And once Britain's in, it's all in. On the economic front, the picture's no rosier. Back in World War II, Britain transformed itself into a war economy overnight. Factories retooled, the government took over production, and society adapted. Bananas disappeared, women welded tanks, and everything was repurposed for victory. But the modern British economy is based on services, finance, and tech, not shipbuilding and coal mining. Rebuilding domestic manufacturing would take time, money, and political willpower, and it would mean major sacrifices, mass rationing, resource reallocation, and a shift in national priorities unseen in decades. Let's be real, Twitter would implode, Parliament would bicker, and at least one MP would demand an exemption for flat white imports. And all of this is assuming the government functions properly, something that, in a crisis, is far from guaranteed. Unity would be essential, but increasingly difficult in a hyperpolarized, outrage-driven digital landscape. Surviving World War III, then, isn't about who has the biggest bombs or loudest allies. It's about endurance. Digital endurance. Psychological endurance. Economic flexibility. And a population willing to trade comfort for cohesion, distraction for discipline. In a modern conflict, the front lines are everywhere, in your bank app, your newsfeed, your supermarket, your mental health. It's not just about surviving the initial strike, it's about living through months, even years, of chaos, uncertainty, and pressure. So could the UK make it through? Maybe. It's a nation known for its grit, its gallows humor, and its bizarre ability to argue about scone etiquette while the world burns. But survival won't be automatic. It'll take more than nukes and nostalgia. It'll take strategic smarts, cyber toughness, and a populace that can remember how to stand together, even if the Wi-Fi goes out. So here we are, one island, facing the potential of global fire, armed with nuclear submarines, memes, and a deeply ingrained habit of complaining about the weather. The question isn't just can Britain survive, it's how will it choose to adapt, to endure, to lead, or at the very least, to not crumble when the pastile is empty. And if history is any guide, the UK has a knack for muddling through, often with a cup of tea in one hand and a sarcastic comment in the other. So whether it's cyber chaos or thermonuclear standoff, EMP strikes or supermarket meltdowns, one thing's clear, the British might grumble, might panic buy, might even tweet through the end, but they'll show up, stand firm, and probably argue over the correct order of jam and cream until the last siren sounds. So tell us, are we ready for the storm, or are we already building tribes based on supermarket loyalty cards? Like, comment, and subscribe for more doom, drama, and dry British banter. And remember, if all else fails, the Highlands are calling.